against the Hornets. The winner gets the 8th seed, and the Warriors will face the Suns. The winner of that game earns the 8th seed out west. And for more on that, we welcome in Zach Lowe.
Hey, Zach. There he is.
Zach, we have seen some incredible moments and thrilling finishes during these first 2 nights. But what's your biggest takeaway so far?
That the play-in is awesome and that it should be here to stay forever. I mean, look what we saw tonight. Old guys, maybe you can't get through the regular season, you can't win 50 games, but you can get into the play-in tournament. And the Warriors and their 2 old Lions give us one more great memory. Vintage stuff from Steph and Draymond raging against the dying of the light. The dynasty's not over quite yet, Steve Kerr. And look, you feel the stakes are real and so much higher. And it's so starkly different from the regular season. And that's the other takeaway is like, you've got to make the regular season feel a little bit more like this. It's never going to feel like this because this is a playoff game effectively. But to go from games that half of them didn't seem meaningful to this is just too stark of a change. We need more stakes in the regular season.
Zach, of the 4 teams left, got 2 games Friday night. Which team, in your opinion, is under the most pressure?
Orlando, and it's not even close. I mean, this is a successful season for Charlotte already. Sure, you'd like to get into the playoffs, but Orlando is sitting here facing a complete disaster from top to bottom. They couldn't stay healthy. They don't play together for long enough stretches. Dirk just talked about the offense just sort of devolving into, okay, does anyone want to shoot? Anyone want to ISO? What are we going to do now? And Jamal Mosley may be coaching for his job in that game if that ship hasn't already sailed. That this was a team that people thought, including me, would win 50 games, and they're sitting here getting double-digit loss on the road to the Sixers without Embiid. I mean, that by itself is they should be better than that, and now they're just chasing the 8th seed. It's got to be the Magic.
Good point. Zach, Friday night, what's your favorite matchup? What you tapping into? What you looking at? What you eyeing?
I'm eyeing both of them. I want to see if Charlotte can actually pull this off, and if LaMelo and Concacaf, like the first real moment of adversity for Concacaf and LaMelo, who would have been the go to that game, and maybe is the go to that game for what he did to Bam, by the way. Lucky to not get suspended. Are they going to bounce back? Blake already mentioned Dylan Brooks versus Draymond Green in Phoenix. That's a show. Steph reminded you that, we can sit here and talk about who's going to guard Steph, who does Phoenix have. The whole team has to guard Steph at all times. And the last thing I'm looking forward to is not Friday, it's the lottery, because Oklahoma City's getting another lottery pick from the Clippers. How high is that going to be? How much more embarrassment can the Clippers take? Sorry, Blake. And then
the NFL draft is 8 days away. And the crew on NFL Live just dropped some serious knowledge. Mel Kiper released his final 2-round mock. Louis Riddick and Booger McFarland broke down the top prospects. Let me get you up to speed on everything you need to know. First, the top of the draft. Mel has Fernando Mendoza going number 1 overall to the Las Vegas Raiders. 22 years old. 35 starts. His 3 biggest games of the year were against the best competition. Booger loves the pick. He said Mendoza is a cross between Peyton Manning and Matt Ryan. That's high praise. At number 2, Mel has David Bailey, the edge rusher from Texas Tech, going to the New York Jets. 11 of 14 games with a sack. 8 forced fumbles over the last 2 years. He was good at Stanford. He became great at Texas Tech. Aaron Glenn needs to win football games, and Bailey can get after the quarterback right away. At number 3, Mel has Arvell Reese going to the Arizona Cardinals. Multi-dimensional talent. Can play off-ball linebacker and edge. The edge is a projection. It's a leap of faith on talent that he could become a double-digit sack guy once he learns how to rush the passer. But the fallback plan is that he could be a Pro Bowl off-ball linebacker. So if you want versatility, Arvell Reese is your guy. Now let's talk about the most exciting player in this draft. Jeremiah Love. The running back from Notre Dame. Mel has him going to the Tennessee Titans at number 4. Why? Because Cam Ward showed late this season and mid-season on that he could be an elite quarterback. Get him some help. Love can be that great game-breaking running back. You can get him the ball in the passing game. He can do damage there. And here's the kicker. He never fumbled the football at Notre Dame. Never. Reliability. Dependability. That's what you want from your franchise running back. Booger said he loves Jeremiah Love anywhere. He said, if you can get the best player in the draft at number 4, that's a check your box for the Tennessee Titans. Love can take it 90 yards. He's a threat to score from anywhere on the field. Booger called it a home run pick. And Mel added that Love wore number 4 at Notre Dame, but he could have worn number 84 and been a first-round wide receiver. He's got Reggie Bush versatility. He's in that Christian McCaffrey, Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs category. That's elite company. Now let's talk about the Giants at pick number 5. Mel has them taking Caleb Downs, the safety from Ohio State. And the comp is perfect. John Harbaugh, the new Giants head coach, knew how to utilize Kyle Hamilton in Baltimore. He stole him with the 14th pick. Kyle Hamilton emerged as one of the best defensive players in the entire NFL, not just safety. And Caleb Downs? He's not as big or physically imposing as Kyle Hamilton, but he has instinctive, tremendous football IQ. Nick Saban said Downs was the smartest player he ever coached. That speaks volumes. The bloodlines are there. His dad, his brother, it's all football with Caleb Downs. Mel said you can make an argument he's one of the top 3 or 4 best players in this draft. That's what you want at 5. Not a reach. A difference maker who will bring a culture change. This guy knows nothing but winning. Alabama. Ohio State. He's been on winning teams his whole career. But Louis Riddick had an interesting counterpoint. He loves safeties. He loves drafting safeties high. But he said if Sonny Styles is still on the board at 5, that's who he would take. Louis said Sonny Styles has superstar written all over him, because he's just scratching the surface of his potential. The Fred Warner comp is obvious. But Louis threw out another name. Brian Urlacher. A safety who moved closer to the line of scrimmage, became the command and control center, and next thing you know, he's in Canton. That's the kind of career arc Louis sees for Sonny Styles. And then he dropped the best line of the whole show. He said, when you look at him, did you star in the movie Avatar? Because you sure do look like one with how big and long and athletic as you are. That's what he is. That's a hell of a compliment. Booger added that he would rather build his defense closer to the line of scrimmage. He loves safeties, but the guys who are closer to the line of scrimmage affect the game a little bit more. So for Booger, Sonny Styles is the pick over Caleb Downs if both are on the board. Now let's talk about the Cowboys. Mel has them trading up with the Browns. Sending 12 and 20 to Cleveland for 6 and 39. And with that 6th pick, Sonny Styles. Why? Because the Cowboys' defense was horrible. They allowed 30 points or more in 9 games. They've been searching for that off-ball linebacker, that green dot spot on the second level, for years. DeMarvion Overshown can't stay healthy. They brought in Logan Wilson, but that's not enough. Sonny Styles is the answer. Louis Riddick said when he was with the Browns, Bill Belichick brought in Pepper Johnson, who was on the backside of his career, but just the presence of a big, stoic, athletic, in-control Mike linebacker gave everyone confidence. That's what Sonny Styles can be for Dallas. Louis said, I just think he'd be a superstar in that uniform in particular. Booger agreed. He said if it falls this way, Will McClay and Jerry Jones will put their cowboy hats on, put their feet up, and be singing Dixie all night in Dallas. Now let's shift to the Ravens at pick 14. Booger said the dream pick for Baltimore is Spencer Fano, the offensive lineman from Utah. Why? Because they lost Tyler Linderbaum to the Raiders. They need to strengthen the interior of that offensive line. Fano brings position flexibility. He can play any spot on the offensive line. Guard. Center. Even tackle in a pinch. He can go in there and play any of the guard spots or even center. Booger admitted it's not a sexy pick. Fans don't necessarily like offensive linemen. Every fan wants a defend or an offensive weapon. But if you're the Ravens, and you lost the quarterback of your offensive line in Tyler Linderbaum, you need to replace that. Mel added that the centers in this draft are deep. You can pick one up on day 3. So take Fano in round 1, add a center later, and then tight end. Eli Stowers from Vanderbilt in the second round would be perfect. The Ravens are tight end centric. We know that. So Fano at 14, a center on day 2, and a tight end. That's a successful draft. Finally, let's talk about Ty Simpson. Mel has the Cardinals trading back into the first round to take him at 30. Sending 34 and 65 to Miami for 30 and 94. Why? Michael LaFleur came from the Rams. There was talk the Rams could take Simpson in the late first round. LaFleur can handpick his quarterback in a division with Sam Darnold, Matthew Stafford, and Brock Purdy. You got to get that quarterback position figured out. And up until November 15th, Simpson had 21 touchdowns and only 1 pick. Despite a subpar offensive line, no running game, and receivers who didn't catch the ball consistently. Then he got banged up. He had 5 straight games with a fumble loss. He admitted he wasn't 100%, not even close. So if you're Arizona, you get ahead of the Jets. And Mel reminded everyone that the Bengals passed on Boomer Esiason 3 times before taking him in the second round. It happens. Louis Riddick defended Simpson. He said, "This guy makes every throw that every quarterback in the NFL makes. Yes. He makes them at a high level in the SEC against the highest level of competition. The only questions are his number of starts and his size." But Louis said the tape says he has the ability to start in the NFL and play at a high level. Booger pushed back. He said, "If you like him so much, take him at 3. If he's your franchise quarterback, take him at 3. There's a reason they're not doing it." Booger would be very careful about trading up and hitching his wagon to a quarterback he's not 100% sure of. Especially with next year's quarterback class being loaded. Mel countered with the Drew Brees example. Brees didn't have great size or great arm strength. The Chargers took LaDainian Tomlinson in the first round and Brees with the first pick of the second round. Then he went to New Orleans, played in a dome, won a Super Bowl. Arizona plays in a dome. The fit matters. And as Mel said, George Young taught him, when you buy is just as important as who you select. Alright, let me wrap this up with some questions for you. Drop your takes in the comments. 1. Should the Titans take Jeremiah Love at number 4, or is that too high for a running back? 2. Caleb Downs or Sonny Styles at 5 for the Giants? 3. Do the Cowboys trade up to 6 for Sonny Styles, or stay at 12 and 20? 4. Is Ty Simpson